Is there an issue of the timeline in the movie Deadpool and Wolverine? No. But does that create a plot hole in some of the previous Deadpool movies? Yes, it does. But the main question that everyone has after watching the movie Deadpool and Wolverine is that the main premise of the movie Deadpool and Wolverine is set in the year 2024, but we all know that the death of Logan happened in the year 2029, and both of these events happen in the same universe, that is Earth 10005. But then how is it possible that Deadpool at the start of this movie was actually present at the grave of Wolverine? How is it possible? Well, to explain that, the simple answer is the TVA. And does it create a plot hole in the previous Deadpool movies? Yes, surely it does. We'll talk about that later in this video, but now let's discuss what actually happened at the start of the movie. So the basic start of the story of this movie starts in the year 2018, in which after the events of the Deadpool 2 movie, Deadpool feels not really content. Deadpool doesn't feel that he matters. Therefore, he hops onto our Earth, that is Earth 616, that is our main MCU, that is the sacred timeline. So Deadpool hops in here and then meets Happy Hogan, wanting him to be recruited in the Avengers. But then Hogan obviously gracefully declines that offer. But then we can see that there was a time jump of 6 years, which means the current story of the year, that means when we see this birthday party, this year is 2024, and this is of course 5 years before the death of Logan. But during that birthday party, we see that the TVA, or should I say Paradox, Mr. Paradox, pulls him out of that timeline and then brings him into the TVA and presents him an opportunity of becoming Marvel Jesus.
I am Marvel Jesus.
But anyways, Paradox actually offers Deadpool to be a savior by deleting his entire timeline, that means killing his entire timeline, because from the perspective of Mr. Paradox, their universe is actually doomed because the anchor being of their universe, that means Wolverine, that means Logan that we saw in 2029, that has actually happened for him, and therefore his universe is eventually going to die. But Paradox doesn't want to wait for that long, and Paradox actually wants to end everything like this, just like this. He wants to end that universe in a second. And therefore he brings in Deadpool because he knows that Deadpool is actually a guy who can actually do this. But here are a few things that we need to consider of the TVA. Just to revise, the TVA is outside time and space. The TVA is not bound by time that we currently are bound by. Therefore for Paradox, therefore from Paradox's point of view, everything has already happened. That means Wolverine's death, the entire end of this universe, has actually happened. Therefore, he just wants to fasten up the process, and therefore he brings in Deadpool. But then of course, a normal question everyone can ask is that why did Deadpool go into the future and bring in a different variant of Wolverine? But frankly, he could have just walked into the existing Wolverine that we saw in the 2019 Logan movie and just save him from dying in 2029. Well, that's the most simple question that we can ask here, but here's a difference. Deadpool just doesn't think on that line. What Deadpool hears is that his anchor being is going to die, and his immediate thought is, let's bring in a new Wolverine, let's bring in a new variant. This is the first reason, and the second reason is that the death of Logan, that the death of Wolverine might well be an absolute point in the timeline. That means some events are absolute events which are bound to happen no matter what. Those are just going to happen, and the death of Logan could just be that point which is bound to happen. And I think this little piece of information should have been added in the movie. But anyways, that explains why we can see Deadpool at the grave of Wolverine. But hey, as I said at the start of this video, that this exact thing actually creates a problem in the previous Deadpool movies, and I'm talking about, of course, the second Deadpool movie's opening scene. Because in the second Deadpool movie, we can actually see in the opening credit scenes, just before the opening credit scenes, that Deadpool acknowledges the death of Logan that happened in the 2017 movie, where we can see this toy Deadpool plays with, and this is exactly in the manner of which Logan died. And then he even goes on to say this:
Wolverine. First, he rides my coattails with the army. Then, the hairy ups the ante by dying. What a Well, guess what, Wolverine? I'm dying in this one too.
But can this all be ignored? Yes, of course this can be ignored, just because this is Deadpool, and the way the Deadpool movies are structured, they are bound to break the fourth wall and bring in a lot of meta jokes, a lot of meta references, which makes the character of Deadpool and the movies of Deadpool so enjoyable, because he has this crazy insight in the real world and in the comic book movies world as well. So therefore we can definitely say that this entire scene, or all the fourth breaking, or all the meta jokes in all of the Deadpool movies, can be considered as Okay, that just happened. I mean, I have not trying to give an excuse here, but yeah, that's the nature of these movies. Well, I hope I did a good job at explaining everything, that how Deadpool was present at the graveside of Wolverine. Please, if you have any questions about this, please go down in the comment section and please share your thoughts there. And also you can check out this video in which I've talked about 5 questions which everyone almost has after watching the movie Deadpool and Wolverine. And as always, thank you so much for watching.